This is Daily Armenia, CivilNet's daily news digest. Here's what's making headlines in Armenia today. Armenian law enforcement arrested Russian-Armenian billionaire Samvel Karapetyan today after searching his Yerevan home. He has been charged with making public calls to seize power. The search at his home came shortly after Karapetyan publicly denounced the government's ongoing conflict with the Armenian Apostolic Church. "Since I have always stood with the Armenian Church and the Armenian people, I will be directly involved," he said in a statement yesterday. "If the politicians fail, then we will intervene in our own way." Karapetyan was seen leaving his house in the early hours of Wednesday, escorted by police officers. He was initially taken to the Organized Crime Department of the police and has now been transferred to the Investigative Committee. Also today, Prime Minister Pashinyan took to Facebook to call for the nationalization of electric networks of Armenia, the country's monopoly electricity distributor, which Karapetyan owns. "I believe the time has come for ENA to be nationalized," he wrote. "This will happen quickly, and my instruction to all ENA employees is to continue fulfilling their duties in good faith." At a press briefing later today, Pashinyan denied that his nationalization announcement was retaliation for Karapetyan's statements. In a parallel development, Armen Abazyan was dismissed from his post as director of the National Security Service. Several media outlets have linked his dismissal to the Karapetyan's case, alleging that Abazyan refused to take part in a crackdown on the billionaire and declined to lead NSS officers in the investigation. Commenting on the matter today, Pashinyan replied that the NSS director could not have disobeyed his instructions. Shortly after the search at Karapetyan's home was reported, Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Maria Zakharova issued a statement saying Moscow is following the developments. "We're closely following the situation around Russian citizen Samvel Karapetyan, who is facing what appear to be threats of arrest in Yerevan under questionable pretexts," Zakharova said. Over the past decades, Karapetyan has built a diverse business empire spanning Russia and Armenia. His ventures include multiple shopping centers, retail chains, and a pizza restaurant chain operating in both countries. Through his Tarshir group, Karapetyan acquired ownership of electric networks of Armenia 10 years ago, purchasing it from the Russian holding company InterAEO. ENA manages the country's electricity distribution infrastructure that delivers power to consumers. The Armenian Prime Minister's office has declined to disclose how much public money was spent on Learning is Trendy, an initiative led by Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan's wife, Anna Hakobian, citing state secrecy. Officials told several media outlets that the campaign's expenses fall under the law that grants special state protection and are part of a classified procurement plan. Authorities previously confirmed that the campaign, launched last November by Hakobian's My Step Foundation, was receiving state subsidies. Pashinyan's chief of staff, Araik Haratunyan, called it a government priority program. Learning is Trendy features TED-style talks held across Armenia, often with Pashinyan as a guest speaker. Critics and watchdog groups have raised concerns over public funding of the events, claiming that they may be part of a pre-election strategy ahead of the 2026 parliamentary vote. Following a wave of Israeli airstrikes across multiple Iranian cities, growing numbers of Iranian refugees are arriving in Armenia through the southern border checkpoint in Agarak, CivilNet observed on the ground. Refugees who spoke to CivilNet near the checkpoint said that they left their homes out of fear after strikes hit cities like Tabriz, roughly 100 kilometers from the Armenian border, and noted that nowhere in Iran feels safe. Most expressed hope that they would return soon, but admitted that they had no clear sense of when that might be possible. All available accommodation in Agarak and the nearby town of Mehri has reportedly been booked out by the sudden influx of Iranians. Meanwhile, a shortage of transportation has driven taxi fares from the border to Yerevan into hundreds of dollars, with high demand straining local capacity. Armenia's border guard service confirmed a significant surge in the number of people crossing from Iran over recent days. The United Nations World Food Programme personnel have visited the Agarak checkpoint. Many of the new arrivals are in urgent need of transport assistance on the Armenian side. Large clusters of Iranian cargo trucks are also lined up near the border, creating further congestion. Yesterday, Armenia's foreign ministry announced that India had turned to Yerevan to help evacuate more than 100 of its citizens from Iran. China has also urged its nationals to leave through Armenia, according to state news agency Armen Press. In the wake of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, a growing number of Tatars, a Turkic people native to central Russia, have made Armenia their new home. Even far from their homeland on the Volga, traditions live on. ＳիվիլNet visited Sabantoy, a Tatar spring festival held in Yerevan over the weekend, to see how once a nomadic people, now digital nomads, keep centuries-old traditions alive, even thousands of kilometers from their home. Their springtime celebration in Yerevan is a reminder that Armenia is truly welcoming. Follow the link in the description to watch the full video report. And as always, please follow ＳիվiլNet for the latest news and independent reporting from our contributors on the ground here in Armenia.